Welcome everyone to something different here. We are commentating the penultimate round of the GP4 Offline Championship 2011 season, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix here at the Yas Marina circuit. I am your host, George Roke, and yes, I am commentating qualifying for the first time, a first in the OC series history. As you can see here, the gods have decided to stop raining on the UK and decided to go to Abu Dhabi for once. And as you can see here, it is raining, and we are currently on board with Florian Volker, who is doing a lap as he comes across the line, the first driver to complete the lap as he goes across the line at 156.0. Here comes Robert Ionescu for Toro Rosso, who goes into second place, just 71 thousandths behind. Here comes Ricky Hutchinson, who is coming across the line, goes into third place, 2 tenths off. Look at Sean Grant for Virgin, he comes across the line, he goes into fourth. We look at Felix Sonntag, even Mercedes, where's he going to go across the line? He goes third. He goes between Ionescu and Hartgreaves. And as we look at Jay McKenzie, his lap doesn't seem particularly good, and he goes across the line in sixth, well off the pace, 2 seconds. Here's Roman Quagg, who's well off the pace with James Willis, who currently goes top. So Roman Quagg, something has obviously happened to him on his lap. And as we look through the replay, it's at the moment you can see obviously the track is wet. It's not raining, but it has rained. But unfortunately, due to the heat in Abu Dhabi, the track has dried certainly not too wet as it was earlier today. But as you can see, look at what happened to Roman Quagg. Mackenzie was overtaking him, coming into the chicane, and Mackenzie tried to go on the inside, and then did a nice little crisscross over on Quagg, who goes wide, and that screws up his lap, and it also screwed up Mackenzie's lap as well. Hence why he was over 2 seconds off the pace. And as we go back to the replay, as Quagg comes through the first corner, but James Willis is currently top. As you know, Evan Byrne is now top. He goes top with a 155.685. As now Michael Mocho comes across the line for 7th place. Here comes Sam Thompson, who's holding up the Ferrari here of, I believe that is Joseph Willows, and it is Joseph Willows. Willows goes 9th. Thompson goes 11th. Omar Carr goes across the line, and he goes into 10th place as the cars who complete the lap will go back into the pits. And then Byrne comes. He's currently in first place at the moment, Volker, as he comes down the support pit straight ahead of the stands. And the stands heads into the next little chicane, little bit of the track, heading towards turn I think turn 14 and 15. Currently a 10th up on this lap, but he will go into the pits anyway. He's only got just over a litre of fuel, enough for another lap, but he'll go into the pits anyway as he comes to the last section of the lap. He's about to come under the really fancy hotel, as here he comes down into the right-hander and under the 5-star hotel with its fancy flashing lights. Look at Volker here using the Mark Webber helmet as he comes around the last set of corners. He's about to come around the penultimate corner, turn 20, and he comes around there, and he's now going to make his way into the pits. He comes around, he goes slightly wide, and he's missed the pit entry, and he goes around. The track is obviously quite slippery, and so does Ionescu. He goes around, spinning like a record, baby. And who else is going to go around? The Sauber is not going to go spin around. Who was that? That was, I believe, that was Ricky Hutchinson. Sean Grant goes around. Is he going to spin? No, he doesn't. He keeps it on. He almost goes into Ionescu there. Avoids it. Sonntag, he's going to avoid Ionescu just about. And Volker is going to rejoin, but he's going to go straight into the wall, and he's damaged his car. Mackenzie's going to go wide as well. Ionescu's blocking the pit entry. I don't quite know what's going on here, as I believe that is Willows trying to go into the pit entry, and he does. He goes around Ionescu, but he slows down the cars, and Quagg's been hit by Byrne, and there's a massive traffic jam coming into Abu Dhabi, and Mocho now goes through the wall, and he goes into Byrne. He just can't stop crashing into anyone, and Willows goes wide. Williams goes, and Williams has gone wide behind him. Thompson's gone wide as well. Carr's just about kept his car under control. As he goes into the pit lane, there's debris and everything anyway. It's like a murder scene here in Abu Dhabi. Someone from the crowd's got a sniper of some sort. But there's the Red Bull, I think, of Volker, and then there's cars going into the pits. There's Ionescu in front. Volker, who's just about actually getting to his garage. He's about to actually go into his garage with just 3 wheels. Willows has lost his front wheel. Mocho has lost the entire front of his car, and he's going along with only 2 wheels on his wagon. He's holding up the 2 Toro Rossos, the pain of their existence. Willows coming down as the 2 Toro Rossos now go into their pit box, but Mocho's car is still going. down the straight. He's attempting to steer. He's trying to do a Buemi from China 2010, and it's not worked. As his car is finally stopped. And Willis' car's still crawling down the pit lane at the moment, but hopefully the crew will get him, as Moch is being held up by Holst there, who just needs to turn the wheel just a little bit to the right, and then he'll get by. But Moch's car, I think, appears to be rolling back there, but Holst gets past, and he'll go out on his lap. And let's see what will happen when he comes out the pits. But at the moment the track is still wet, but there's not supposed to be any rain for the rest of the session. But as we look at Holst coming out the pits, we might as well tell you some of the driver news. So one of the first news, probably least surprising at the moment, the least surprising one first, is that Robert Ionescu will go to Sauber next season, alongside Ricky Farah-Zain, leaving Lucas Levi without a seat. Kirosima De Rosa has signed for Sauber, I believe. But Kirosima has signed. As you know, he's not. I lie. I don't know why I've just said he signed for Sauber when Robert Ionescu has. That's my bad. But Kirosima. Let's start again. Robert Ionescu has signed for Sauber, which is probably the least surprising news of the weekend. But Kirosima De Rosa has signed for Force India alongside Amar Khan, a move that was surprised everyone, but a move that has surprised a lot of people in the paddock, critics and drivers alike, is that Sam Thompson will in fact go to Toro Rosso next season and partner Franco Gamba. Many were suspecting that Thompson may not have a seat next season due to the fact that he's underperformed at Williams, and Adam Wolff, who has performed fairly well at the team for next season. But it does mean Adam Wolff has a seat, and at the moment the only two teams that will have driver announcements at the final round in Brazil will be Virgin and Caterham. As we look at Viggo Holst about to start his lap as he comes down the final section of the track, as Mocho's car now finally gets pushed back in by his team. But let's have a look once again on board from his point of view about what has happened so far in this session, something which I've never seen before. I mean, it's certainly one of the greatest sessions I've ever seen, and well, let's just see what happened as we go all the way back. So Mocho, as he was coming down into the final corner, got slightly on the blue stuff, and he went a bit wide. He went around Ionescu's car and then went in to the pits. He made it all fair enough, but for some reason just decided not to slow down and just go into Byrne's car. His car once again goes into Byrne, and as a result of karma, his car decides to blow up. His front end comes off like Buemi in China 2010. Sebastian Mocho, you could call him. Or Sebastian Magel. I don't know. I don't know which one works better, but that's is unfortunate there for Michael Mocho. And as we skip through the replay, as Mocho's car eventually gets put back towards the garage by his team, as we look at Lucas Levi and a host of other cars coming out of the pits. So Morton's out, Gal's out, Southgate's out, pretty much the whole rest of the field, who has not set a lap time yet, is out. And as we look at Viggo Holst, who's about to start his lap, he comes around the final corner, comes around turn 21. There are 21 corners on this track. As he comes across the line, and he is set to start his lap. As he goes across the line, let's see how quick this lap will be, and let's see if the track is actually going to get any drier. And let's see if the lap time improves. Certainly a bit more than it did before, because I mean there are a number of drivers that have actually have set times. And let's see. So let's have a look at what his time will be for the first sector as he comes around the hairpin, as he's about to come on to the back straight. As he comes now out of the hairpin, he comes on the back straight. Let's have a look at the first sector. So the top time is a 38.2 seconds, and he's done that. He's just 54 thousandths off as he comes down the straight. And he comes down into the hairpin at the end of the straight, probably one of the overtaking points. It was host to Wastecool's fantastic move on Florian Volker in last year's Grand Prix. As he now comes down the support pit straight. as they go using the DRS, despite the fact that it is quite wet out there. He goes to over 300 kilometers an hour, and he comes now into this little chicane section of the track. Comes to the right, and now he comes to the left. 52,000, so around about the same time for the first and second sector, so quite consistent here. The whole track, I think, certainly you could say is drying. At the moment, Evan Byrne is still top, as now Viggo Holst comes down into the comes down to the right hand just before the hotel. Comes to the right, then comes through the left, comes through turn 17, comes to 18, and you can say that's 19, I suppose. That little one there, and now he's set to come through the final couple of corners, turn 20 and turn 21. And as he comes through turn 21, let's see what his lap time will be as he comes across the line, comes down the straight. It's going to be quite close. I think he'll be in at least the top 3, I think. And no, actually he's not. He's only gone 6th, so the pace has obviously dropped off in that final sector. But here comes Alex Southgate coming down around the final corner, and he comes across the line. And he goes top by 7/10 of a second. The track is definitely drying. At the moment, everyone is still on intermediate tyres. As now Adam Wolf comes round turn 19 as he comes set to come through turns 20 and 21. And he comes round turns 20, and now he comes through 21. And where is he going to be? It looks like quite a slow lap from Wolf, so he must have made a mistake somewhere. And he comes across the line. He's only 12th, and he's 3 seconds off. Mikos Gaud comes over the line. He goes second. Roland Moichin comes over the line. He goes 10th. Waze Kuba for Ferrari, who's had a pretty dreadful second half of the season. He comes across the line, and he goes second. So he's quite a way off Southgate at the moment. So Southgate's lap is pretty good. George Roque comes across the line. He goes only 10th. Here comes Roman Quagg in the Lotus. And he comes through turn 20, and now he comes set to come through turn 21. He comes through 21, and let's see where he comes across the line. His pace looks to be a bit off, but he is in the Lotus, don't forget. He goes at 17th. Lucas Levi goes 12th. Sean Grant, who unfortunately Joseph Willis has been held up again. Quite unfortunate there for the British driver. He'll have one more. He'll have another chance of that, but he moves up just briefly to 15th. They'll have another lap, so I imagine hopefully the team will try and get him out ahead of traffic this time. Here comes Evan Byrne. Is he going to go top of the standings? And yes, he is. He goes by 7/10. He goes into first place. And wow, that is a good lap there from Evan Byrne. But the track is drying all the time, so the results could certainly be a mixture. But here comes Viggo Holst. He's set to come back into the pits after his lap. Question is, will he make it into the pits? He goes onto the blue line, and he spins, and here we go again, folks. Get your popcorn out. The show is about to begin again. And he goes into the wall, he loses his front wing. Southgate manages to make it into the pits without damage. Holst now decides to reverse back onto the track. Not a great idea, but I don't think anyone else is on the lap at the moment. And he comes back in, so he only loses his front wing. No more damage than that. And Wolf's going to come back into the pits, and so is Mikos Gaud, so there could be chaos there. So here comes Wolf. He's coming through the final couple of corners. He's coming through at turn 20 now. As he now comes into the pits, he dives to the right. And he goes onto the curb, and there he goes. And Gaud misses the pit entry, but he misses the bar, but he still gets in regardless. So he managed to make it work. The Force India managed to make it into the pits there. Here comes Waze Kuba. Will he make it into the pits? And yes, he does. And a Wolf there still stuck on the track as he now waits for George Roque to go into the pits, and Roque makes it in. And is there anyone else that Wolf is going to have to wait for before he goes in? And nope, he manages to make it in, but here comes Roman Quagg. He's about to come into the pits as well. Lucas Levi behind Roman Quagg, who's set to come in. Here comes Quagg around turn 20, and the Sauber of Levi behind him. Quagg, will he make it in? Well, I don't really think anyone really thought that he would make it, but he doesn't make it in, and the Sauber, I believe he spun as well, I think that was Levi, as Willows manages to make it in. But Levi's spun at the final corner. He's stuck on the track, and Quagg is currently stuck waiting for Evan Byrne to go in. Oh, my car's about to set a lap time at Toro Rosso at the moment, but Levi is going to get back in. Is he? No, and he goes into the wall, and Quagg is, I have no idea where he's going, but he's doing a nice little pirouette. Levi reverses back onto the track, and Quagg, is he going to go into the pits now? Levi just crashes into the wall again. And on my car, he's currently on a lap. He's 7/10 off. It's not a great lap at the moment. At the moment, he is running in 19th, so I hope to at least improve that. So I imagine probably soon, drivers might gamble on the dry tyres, as car is set to come around turn 19, as he's set to come around 20 and 21. And he comes round 20, and now is he going to come into the pits? No, he actually no, he's doing a lap. So I don't know why I was saying that really, but now car is going to do a lap. Let's see how quick this lap will be. Will it improve him from 19th place? And the answer is yes, it does. It improves him all the way up to 6th, so not a bad lap. But there's Levi's car that's currently stranded in pit lane at the moment, so the crew needs to remove his car so it doesn't affect anyone else in the pit lane. But this has been certainly a crazy session so far, as we look at Michael Mocho, who's about to come down the pit straight, as he comes past the support pit straight, and he comes past the pit exit for the support pits, and he comes into the left-hander, then goes into the little chicane, goes to the right, and then goes to the left, and now he comes also into the left-hander. And as he comes down towards the hotel, he comes to the double fast right-hander, comes into the third right-hander, and let's see who else is going out. So it looks like there's Southgate's out, Sakar, Volker, Ionescu, Sontag, Park-Rosane, Mocho, and Mackenzie are all out on track at the moment as we speak, as we look at Michael Mocho, who's about to start his first lap. Well, not his first lap, but it's about to start a proper qualifying lap. So let's see how well he will do. And he comes across the line now to start. So let's see how quick this lap will be for Mocho, to see if the track has in fact dried up a fair bit. So Mocho comes through turns 3 and now comes through turn 4, I believe. Now comes through turns 4, now he comes heading towards the chicane. You can see there is now a dry line that is starting to appear on the track, as he now comes through the chicane and comes through the hairpin, as he now goes on to the final straight, the back straight I should say, and he goes on to the straight. Let's see how quick this sector will be, but there's a yellow flag out, and I think we all know where that's going to be, and car has crashed at the hairpin and he's reversed back on the track. Fortunately, no one has come in the path, but Mackenzie's about to, and so is Sontag, so they're going to be affected as they start their laps. Hopefully Carl will get out of the way of any other car that will come through that final corner. As we look back at Mocho as he comes down on the other straight past the support pits. Had an okay first sector, but I think he's certainly a few tenths off. So that isn't really much of a surprise, but he comes now down into the left-hander. And now comes through the right, into the left, and he comes into the next left-hander. So we look at Robert Ionescu, who's just behind Mocho, doing the same. He's half a second off in the second sector, so I think Mocho will certainly improve up a few places as long as he keeps the pace up for the final sector. As he comes through, as he's about to come through under the hotel. And he comes now under the hotel through the left-hander through turn 19, goes over the curve, goes quite wide, and now he's about to come through turn 20, and he comes through 20, and now he comes through 21 quite wide on the little Astro there, and probably the drain, I imagine it's quite very slippery on there, hence why a lot of the drivers have been going off trying to come into the pits. Mocho comes across the line and he goes third. What a lap there by Michael Mocho. That'll be something that you probably won't see in his lifetime, a podium place for Lotus. Here comes Robert Ionescu. Where's he going to place? He comes across the line. He goes fifth, just ahead of Nicolas Gal. Mackenzie is now coming through. He's currently just 2 tenths off. The track is improving all the time. Times will be toppling down as we now enter the last 10 minutes of this session. As here is Mackenzie, comes through the double right-hander. Now the triple right-hander comes through into the hairpin, you could call it, as they now head through the hotel section. It should also be noted that there's only at the moment 21 drivers, and you're probably thinking, who's the driver that hasn't set a lap time yet? It is in fact Bruno de Barros, who is not going to be taking part in the session due to, let's say, personal reasons for that one. As now here comes Mackenzie, who's about to come through the final corner. And he comes through, goes onto the curb, and as he goes across the line, where is he going to place? The answer is he goes into 4th place, and Felix Sonntag actually goes into 3rd at that moment, as now here comes Ricky Hartstein, who's about to come through the final corner, and where is he going to place? And he comes through the final corner as he's set to come across the line. He's just gone to the 54, so it might be at least maybe in the top 10. And he does, in fact, go 10th place, so I predicted that one right. Southgate goes across the line. He goes 2nd. Volker is about to go across the line. Where is he going to go? It looks like his time might be pretty good. He's going to go across the line, and he goes top by 6/10 of a second, nearly 7/10. That's an impressive lap there from Florian Volker. Now Holst goes into P4. James Willows is going to go into 2nd. He's just nearly 2/10 off. Now here's Sam Thompson, who's about to come through the final corner. And let's see where he places as he's about to come across the line. And he goes 5th. So the track is certainly improving. We've got a really jumbled order at the moment. Well, I suppose not the first, I suppose 3 drivers, I suppose. But then further down the order, the time's improving all the time. As now Mocho is about to come through the final corner, but he's gone off again. He spins. And is anyone else going to do the same behind him? Ian Eskew, is he on a lap or has he done one already? And no, he's done one, so he's about to come into the pits. He hits the AstroTurf. He spins. Mocho's got into the wall, of course. Ionescu spins. Is he going to rejoin? And he goes into Mocho. Payback for all the times that he's hit him. But now that could cause a traffic jam coming into the final corner as Miklos Gau is about to come into the final corner. Mocho coming back on the track. And what? That's amazing. How has Mocho just not hit Gal's car there? That is, I mean, that's the most insane pace insane driving I've ever seen. He just reversed onto the track like he's just come out of a parking space and not checked both mirrors. You've got to check both mirrors, Mocho, before you reverse back onto the road. And I'm still amazed at how Gal has somehow not hit Mocho there. And we can have a look on board at slow-mo from Miklos Gal's point of view. And just look at how close. He almost actually steered into him there. Nearly did Gal, but he got away with it. And as he comes through the final corner, will that affect his lap time? As he's about to come across the line. And in fact, it didn't. He was still top by 2/10 of a second. What an incredible lap time, as Mocho is now going off somewhere with only 2 wheels on his wagon again. I mean, this session's just been nothing short of madness. It's an absolute madness. As Mocho, so what's happened? So obviously he reversed back on, and then he tried to go back into the pits. He hit the wall, and his car just exploded again. How many cars is he going to go through this weekend before the race? I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if he is kept by Lotus next season, because I mean, this is just some Harry Houdini type magic. This. As now Mackenzie's gone wide, and so is Sonntag into the final corner, and Sonntag is going to try and go into the pits, and he goes into the wall, and Wolf has hit the wheel, and he tries to go in the wall, even though there's clearly not a wall to not a way to go into the pits there. I just thought there was a gate there. Ricky Fark was saying goes round. Everyone's going off, and so does Southgate behind him, and oh my god. There's so many contact, and Volker is going to be the only one who makes it through, but there's a Renault blocking his path. He squeezes past that, hits the wheel. Sonntag is in another dimension, and Farkrazane has gone into the wall. Holster's spun. James Willows has just about kept it under control, and he avoids the 2 stricken cars there, and he goes into the pits safe and sound. And now Holster's about to go into the pits. Farkrazane is now going to reverse back. And Sam Thompson is about to go into the pits, or not. There he goes. He spins, and is he going to rejoin? He's got the Sauber in front of him, which he just manages to avoid. He's got a lot of debris, and he's got 2 cars. Is he going to fit round it? No, he hits the Mercedes. The Master just coming out to him, and he hits it again, damages the side pod. It's now a traffic jam in the pit entry right now, as Mackenzie and Southgate cars are blocking it. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the driving standards, and now as Ricky Harkazane comes into the pits, and it's now a complete blockage there. Harkazane's stuck behind Thompson as he now finally barges his way through. Levi is about to start a lap, or has just started a lap, I should say. For Sauber, you can clearly see the dry line that is now appearing on the track. You can see as they come through the first few corners, as they now head up towards the chicane, it's certainly more evident there. So certainly in the first sector, it looks like it is certainly very, very dry there. Clear dry line as they come through there. And as they now come into the left-hander, as he comes now onto the back straight, and he comes onto the back straight, and at the moment Lucas Levi, let's see what the lap time he will be doing. At the moment he's still on intermediate tyres. He does a lap which is at the moment 6/10 behind, so he's quite slow at the moment. George Roke is also out on track. Waze Koo is out on track. Renaud Moitin has now just gone out on track, and a few others it looks like it might go on track soon, because the track is drying. Roke is still going on intermediate tyres, but I think dries may be the way to go at the moment. And as we look at Lucas Levi coming down the support pit straight, he's very quick at the moment, it looks like, on these inter tyres. Or at least I'm pretty certain they are inter tyres, but I could be wrong. As Levi now comes through as he comes through the chicane, he's now about to come onto the he's about to come through the hotel section of the track. As Levi comes through the triple right-hander, he comes through the first one, comes through the second right-hander, and now he comes through the right-hander. He's now about to go under the hotel. As he goes through the left-hander, and he goes through the next left-hander through turn 19. As he's now about to come through into turns 20 and 21, the last two corners of the track. Roku, who is not yet actually started a lap, but he will be starting a lap soon. Our cars now come out the pits. You see on your left-hand side, but I imagine quite a few cars will probably start to come out the pits now that the dry line is starting to appear. So inters, I don't think really the right choice. I think dries are probably the way to go. Levi goes into 5th. Roke is just about to start a lap. Moitin's out there. Car's out there. There's a few other drivers that are coming out. Grant has gone out on track. Quag has. Joseph Willows has. And Moitin, I think, was already out on track. But Robert Ionescu, I believe, which I just saw coming out of the pits just a minute ago as well. Now, this is going to be a very fascinating end of the session. But now here comes George Roke, who comes across the line to start a lap. And you can see on the top left-hand of your screen, Evan Burns come out. Lucas Levi, Jay McKenzie, Mocho has also come out. Kuba, I didn't think I mentioned, has also come out as well. As he is George Roke about to start his lap. He comes through the first few corners of the dry line, clearly in action, but he's on inters, so makes me think, is inters the way to go? We shall see, but I imagine if he does set a lap on inters, there'll probably be a few drivers that have gambled on dries. I believe Ionescu was on dries in front of him, so I believe quite a few drivers will probably go on the dry tyres. As we now enter the final 3.5 minutes of the session, it's been a fascinating qualifying session here for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. George Roke, his first sector time, 4/10 off at the moment. It's not particularly hot, but I imagine probably on the dry line, it probably won't help either, so I think he needs to really get off that if he wants to see if he can get anything out of it. But as he comes through onto the support pit straight, the dry line clearly appearing, as now most cars are out except for the top three, Southgate, Thompson, Holst, Sontag and Wolf. So let's see if those drivers decide to get out or not. But here comes George Roke as he's about to come through into past the support pit straight, and he now comes through the chicane. He's certainly quicker in the second sector than he was in the first. It's certainly an improved lap time from Roke. And as he comes through the left-hander, he now comes through the triple right-hander, heading towards the hotel. All the flashing lights going off, currently in blue and red. As he now comes through the right-hander, comes through into the left. And now Lucas Levi has spun at the final corner. And so will anyone else do the same? Levi has managed to get himself into the pits though, so that danger is averted. But Roke, with just 2 minutes left of the session, is about to come around the final corner. He's on intermediate tyres. Where will Roke place him? Because he's not going to have time to do another lap. So this is an important lap for Roke. He needs to nail this one. And he goes P1 for the moment by half a second at the moment. That's a great lap. But here comes Waze Koo, who I think is going to spoil his party. Is he? And he does by 7/10. I believe he was on the dries. Moitin, I think, is on the dries as well. He goes top, but he does even a faster lap than what Kuba does. And now here comes Amar Kar, who's on the dry tyres as well. It looks like most people are going on the dries for the final part of the session. As Kar comes through turn 20, and he now comes through into turn 21. And where will Kar place with his lap time? We shall see. There he comes down the pit straight. Where's he going to go? He goes P3. So Roke already down to P4. So that P1 for him was short-lived indeed. As now we look at Roman Quark, who comes through turn 20. We've got 1.5 minutes left. Where is Quark going to go? He's on the dry tyres. As he comes through the final corner, where is Roman Quark? He's going to go across the line. And he's gone top. He's gone top by 1.5 seconds. That is absolutely incredible. What a lap time by Roman Quark. He is top for the moment. And I don't know if anyone else is going to beat that. But here comes Joseph Willis, who might spoil his party. But for the moment, Lotus, with just a minute to go, are top of a qualifying session in the GP4 OC. That is something which we have never ever seen before and probably won't ever see. It's certainly a fluke. But here comes Joseph Willis. He comes across the line. He does a 1:48.4. He's obviously clearly on the dries. Here comes Evan Byrne, who's right behind Joseph Willows. And despite getting held up by him a bit, he still goes top by nearly half a second. So if he hadn't been held up there, he could have done so much a better lap. Here comes Mackenzie as we enter the last minute. He comes across the line. His lap doesn't seem particularly good, but he still goes into 7th place. Goes above George Roke there, so I believe he was probably still on the inters with that lap time, unless he made a mistake. Here comes Robert Ionescu. He goes into 3rd. He goes ahead of Quark. Here comes Mocho. Where's he going to place? He places P13. Roke spun off at the final corner. And so I thought Cooper was going to do it, but Harkison goes past. He might be affected by Roke at the final corner, as he now goes across the line. And he will go P5. That's a great lap. Roke's gone into the wall. Moyton was just going into the pits as well. I imagine he's probably got involved in that. We're now into the final 5 seconds, as Felix Sontag comes out quite pointlessly because he's not going to be able to set a lap time, as the session is now over. And at the moment, this is the grid. It is Evan Byrne on pole position, Joseph Willows 2nd, Robert Ionescu 3rd, Roman Quark 4th, Rifki Farquharson 5th, Rella Moyton 6th, Kuba 7th, Carr 8th, and Kitty 9th. But he's got a 10th place grid penalty, so he'll drop to P19. So it'll be Roke 9th and Miklos Cow in 10th. Unless anyone makes any other improvements, this has been an incredible qualifying session. I mean, I've never seen anything like it before. As Quagga spun, coming into the final corner, he's going to make it into the pits, and he just avoids the wall. So that crisis is averted once again. As he comes in the pits, most cars are in the pits. I believe the cars just out on track have just completed their laps, so they will all be coming in. But now there'll be even more madness as the track is now dry, and the grip may not be there if they go on if they touch the Astro. As Willows make it into the pits safe and sound. Will Mackenzie make it into the pits? Will Ionescu? Will Mocho? Will Farquharson? So many questions that will be answered. But Sontag, he will start a lap, but he won't finish it obviously because the session is now over. They were obviously testing him out to see, and they actually, I believe they still sent him on into tyres, which is certainly a mistake, but it won't matter now because the session is over. He'll be down in P19. That's disappointing for him. Not the session that he would have wanted at all, as he tried to go on to the wet stuff to warm up the inters. He now comes past the pit straight, coming into the left hand and then into the chicane. As Mackenzie's spun at the final corner, there's debris down the pit entry, as Mackenzie's going to rejoin, and he manages to avoid the damage, but Mocho completely misses the pit entry and spins. Now Harkison, is he going to do the same thing? And no, he doesn't. He manages to get into the pit safe and sound. As I said, there's debris coming into the pits as Mocho now rejoins. But he's gone at a bad angle and he goes into the wall, and now here it goes. Sontag will complete the lap, so he won't get involved, but Mocho is crawling down the pit lane with just 3 wheels on his wagon. That's another car destroyed. I mean, I'm surprised they'll have any money left at the end of the weekend with the amount of cars that Mocho has destroyed. I wonder if their insurance covers this. Mocho will probably have to pay a lot for this, as Mocho now comes into the pits, but the qualifying is now over. So in what was an unbelievably bizarre qualifying session, this is your grid for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Fascinating in the title race. So it is Evan Byrne on pole position, Joseph Willows in 2nd, Robert Ionescu 3rd, Roman Quark in 4th, Rifki Harkison in 5th, Roland Moinchi in 6th, Waze Kuba 7th. As you go further down the order, Armour Car is 8th, Jamie Mackenzie will be down to 19th with his penalty. So it'll be George Roke 10th, Gal 11th, George Roke 9th, Gal 10th, Florian Volker 11th, Willows 12th, Mocho 13th, Lucas Levi 14th, Southgate 15th, Thompson 16th, Holst 17th, Sontag 18th, Grant, Wolf and De Barros completing the session. And that was some session, I have to say. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you for the race. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.